Welcome to the podcast, our part two with our inaugural guest, John Peele. What's up, John Peele?
Big words.
uh, Peel, but no, not much, man, not much.
What did
It's
he do?
awesome. It's awesome to have me back.
Okay, John Peele. My bad. I definitely knew that. What's going on right now in lockdown?
Not much. It's a little different from the first. I'm not coaching as much. I'm not actively coaching as much, but I started my master's degree, which is 100% online. I'm doing it in exercise science and health promotion, but other than that, I've just been at home. I've been training, and I'm starting to post more about training on socials. But other than that, not much is different.
How's it like
Yeah,
doing a
yeah.
master's online? Is it harder?
Yeah. Well, I mean, right now I think it's been easier, and I think it's because I'm studying stuff that I truly enjoy, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing it out of the school's called California University of Pennsylvania, and one of my profs is actually from Waterdown, which is
Wow.
literally down the road from my house,
Mm-hmm.
and but it's been really good. Like the profs have been really good with the communication, which I was surprised. I came in there like expecting, oh my gosh, like who do I email? Like if I have any questions, are they even gonna get back to me on time? But the transition from in person classes from undergraduate to like online masters has actually been easier. And I think it's mainly due to the fact I'm studying stuff that I have prior knowledge about,
Right.
and it's easy for me to speak of training topics because it is directly the exercise science portion of it is we are just talking training.
Mm-hmm.
Like we spend 3 weeks like as a class just discussing, how to improve one's 100-meter sprint time and
Yeah.
and all the stuff that goes into that. But it's been good. It's been good.
It sounds like that's gonna be really beneficial when you finish off with that too.
Yeah, no, 100%, because where the industry is going for strength coaches is if you want a job with a pro team or a college team, they're gonna need you're gonna need a master's degree of some sort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough.
So, I need to touch on it. So, I guess this will go up next Friday, but it's day two of the Civil War in the States here,
Yeah.
basically. I don't know. Just we talked about it a little night with Jake last night with Jake Girdle a little bit, and I don't know, John. Like, are you thinking this is super crazy? Like, it's pretty scary.
It is pretty scary. I I can't explain it. I try to stay away from it, to be honest. I see what's happening and I acknowledge it because I have like my sister lives in Tennessee, and so like I do keep a pulse and I have to keep a pulse on stuff that's happening in the States, but I would never predicted that. That was insane. And like
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on down there. I don't know if I even mentioned it in the first podcast, but I had aspirations to go down the States and coach. As of right now, I do not want to be there. Like
Mm-hmm.
I could care less about going down south and coaching at a Division 3, Division 2, Division 1 school. I'd rather stay in Canada, or even hopefully when COVID settles or whatever, I can go to Europe or Asia or whatever. But it's crazy, man. Like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people like myself too is after high school and stuff, the States is something that's been on my mind. But yeah, I don't know about that right now. I think I'm gonna have to postpone my dreams of going down there because it just doesn't look fun. Like it just looks like a mess, and it's gonna be a mess for a while.
Like, exactly. It's funny how like we're in the same position. We put the states like on this pedestal of greatness. Like
Hmm.
we're growing up in Canada, we experience whatever we experience, but we look at the states and we're like, oh my gosh, like sports are way better over there. It just looks like they just seem to take it more serious, or even like it doesn't have to be sport; it can be anything else. Like the whole American dream
Hollywood and
of
all
Yeah.
that
moving over
stuff.
there, starting your life. Yeah, exactly. And then you see something like that, and not only that, everything that led up to that, right? The whole Black Lives Matter movement, everything that was going on. It's a mess. It's a
Hmm.
mess, and I don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm kind of afraid to see what happens. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah,
And
it
to
doesn't
add
seem.
on that one thing too, like the Hollywood dream or like that American dream, going to Hollywood and actually seeing it in person, it's so dirty. Like you picture it, like
Really?
imagine like the lights everywhere, red carpets, like it's clean as can be.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near that, which is it's puts it into perspective, I guess, when you experience it in person. But I mean, again, everything like so many awesome things happen there, and it's really cool. But yeah, it's just different. It's not what you expect.
Difference a word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
I watched. I was watching the highlights of yesterday of the 2016 World Juniors when Connor McDavid played, and it was in Toronto, and it was a big deal, and that was one of the better teams they've ever had, and they won against Russia, and Stephen Harper is like in the middle of the crowd, like he used to go to the Kitchen Rangers games sometimes, like I know friends who have met him at Rangers game, like he would go in the crowd, like he was at the World Junior Games sold out arena with 14,000 people,
right.
like no security or anything, and he wasn't in like a box, like in the normal seats, like nothing. Like Trudeau couldn't do that these days, I bet.
Hmm.
Like that's pretty nuts. So we'll move on though. We need to touch about, you were the inaugural guest. You got, I don't want to say by far, but you got quite a bit. You got the most listens easily on Spotify because you're that first episode. Everyone goes checks you out when they find our podcast.
I'm going to leave it to that. I mean, I think you've had way more interesting guests. I think it helps that I was the first, because you're right. Once they click on that, they're listening to mine.
You get like every week you'll get a couple new listeners just like because you're that first one.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's the luck of the draw, cool. I guess. There you go.
Yeah, that's huge.
Another thing I wanted to talk to you, this was a huge thing, is you're doing a lot of posting right now of training. And is this like a company that you're starting or virtual training?
Change the standard.
Yeah, pardon?
Yeah.
Change the standard. It's what it's called.
Yeah, and I find that really cool. I've been keeping in touch with it and looking at another guest we've had, Gervier. Gervier.
Yeah.
He's been doing a bunch of posting. John A. Like it's pretty cool, and it looks like it's gonna be big. So would you be able to talk a little bit about what's going on there?
Yeah. So it's called Game Changer Performance, but the whole slogan behind it is raise the standard. And it's like,
my bad.
No, but no, you're good. It's like my whole goal, like when I first got into coaching, was to quote unquote raise the standard or improve the coaching quality in Canada. And that's another reason I'm getting this master's degree, because what's going to be insane is when I'm done this master's and I say the same things I've been saying now, a year from now, after I get my degree, people are going to listen to me a year from now, even though I said it today, or I said it 3 years ago. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I have those letters behind my name now. But anyways, Game Changer Performance, right now it's an education platform that offers online training programs. We have a general program that's extremely affordable. It's $30 a month. It's just general, nothing's individualized, and it's 3 days a week. Then we have our individualized programs, which vary in price, but it's nothing but that. It's just an educational platform. It allows us to get our thoughts out, and on top of that, it allows us to help other people if they want it, if they reach out. Like, we're not actively reaching out to people. That's not the goal of it. That wasn't the goal of it. It was something actually we started back in 2017, but we put it on the back burner. Ever since I really started more hours at NLPT, I just kind of left it and I archived all the posts. Like, you don't see any of the old stuff that used to be on there, but that's what it is. It's just an educational service on training. And we do offer help with programming if people were to approach us. Mm-hmm. Again, we're not actively seeking. I'm not going to message people and be like, oh, come train under our programs. Like, it's not that at all.
Now, who's we? Is that you and Gervier and John?
Yeah. So it's actually, it's the same people that were a part of it in 2017. It's myself, Gervier Romana, and a gentleman by the name of Jacob Morton. Jacob Morton I met through Brock University. That was my first year of my undergrad. I was a physical education student at Brock, and I interned with their sport performance internship, and I met Jacob through the kin faculty, and we've always bounced training ideas off each other's minds, and he's helping out with the account. But it's just us three right now. Again, nothing too serious, but it's something that I think I won't lie, like seeing you guys continue to grow gave me inspiration to be like, why don't I just start this up again, see what happens, and be consistent. Like it's seeing, small accounts being consistent, growing day by day, and seeing the success of other accounts happening or like growing, you know what I'm saying? That allowed me to be like, okay, let's give it a go. Like, we're ordering merchandise where we will sell those if people want to buy a hat or shirts or whatever, but it's just us three. It's just us three for now.
That's awesome. No, that's pretty cool. That's a little more inspiration for us.
Yeah. Just, go ahead.
Sorry, my apologies. No, I was just saying, like the credit to you guys, and like, you never know who's watching, right? Like it takes one person to click this video and be like, oh, like I'm going to share the Charged Up podcast with this person and this person, and all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, what the heck? Like the buzz gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and just thank you guys for sticking with it. I think I said that in the first episode. I'm like, I really hope you guys stick with it, and you guys stuck with it, and now we're here, second lockdown, middle of a crisis or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's just something we want to talk about that more too, for sure. But I just want to touch out like all like the ups and downs, right? Like even like the last couple of weeks, our podcasts haven't done as well, so we've been focusing on the YouTube. But like, there's so many ups and downs, right? You get your cool guests, and then you get, I don't know, all the guests are cool, but sometimes you get your big guests. Sometimes you don't think a guest is going to be big. They get a bunch of views, and this isn't really related to you. I just thought I'd talk about it. Like, it's crazy, all the ups and downs you go through, and you think we thought pretty set, and then we're going through a little bit of a slump again. And it has nothing to do with us. It's just sometimes the views don't go.
No, but I understand what you're saying. Like, I think it really helps that, having, Keith, yourself, Mueller, and Nate, like, as a group, being collectively, like, holding each other accountable. Like, I think it's much tougher if one of you guys try to do this all yourself.
Yeah.
Like, and it's great. That's why, like, even when I did this thing in 2017, I needed just two other people, just to be like, hey, like, let's post something, or let's figure this out. Like, and I think it's good seeing those up and downs, because, like I said, like, you guys from the first podcast to now, it's much different. And I think it's great. Like, I've listened to like all the podcasts. Like, and I hope you guys, like, again, you don't know who's watching it, but I'm sure people tune in over and over again. Like, it's especially now in lockdown. Well, especially now, like, everyone's home. Like, keep posting, right? Like, get people, like, it's one of those things. But no, I hear you.
Yeah, and it was cool. We had Ethan Gill. He just committed to Toronto University for football, and he's been he's been viewing them ever since. So a big fan. So shout out to him. So it was just cool, and like, we didn't expect him to be listening. So it just bounces off your point. Like, you just never know who's listening, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So we'll get into now. We'll get back to questions. I know this is a pretty chill interview. We didn't really have any we had set questions, but no specific topics really. And so obviously you're done at NLPT, and I talked to you and stuff and thanked you, but like, you've impacted so many people's lives. And is that kind of, I don't want to make you sad, but is that kind of like a chapter now that's in your life and kind of moving on from, and that chapter's in the past? In a way?
In a way, like I said, I am still part-time staff, but I understand my new rules. Like, I understand I'm not in charge. So in that sense, like, I don't make the calls now. So it is a closed chapter, and like, you do see the development, like the amount of work I put in with other coaches, obviously, and we just see like the growth of athletes, and like, it's just, to look back on, the chapter is a little closed, but it's not like I won't see them again. Like, I will, like, I will be back there popping by or whatever, if they need me to come coach, but it is a good way. I'm almost closing the chapter.
Yeah, I just, like, you, not even like workout wise, you just touched on like just being there every day, right? Like, you impacted so many people's lives, and you're great there. So I don't know, it makes me sad talking about it. But
no,
and then another question was like, what's something that, obviously it's so many experience there, you worked with so many people, you met so many people, and what are some of the main things that you've learned that you could share with us? And I know you kind of it's on the spot, but if anything comes to your head.
Yeah. Um, the one thing is like I didn't think I would have as much as an impact that I did on people, and it really showed through. Like when I started telling people I wouldn't be there as much, or like I'm not full time, I'm doing my master's, I don't know how much I'll be here. I started getting like DMs and emails from parents and athletes, but it's like wow, like having this parent reach out because their son or daughter told them this coach is leaving and he's been there for like 2 3 years, and it's just like I never knew. Like I thought SNC coaches had an impact, don't get me wrong, but to the extent of what we can impact someone is much more greater than I could ever think of. Like I think at times we could have more impacts than sport coaches. Depending who the sport coach is. Obviously, I think it's rare. Like obviously, head coaches in your given sport have more impact generally. But in saying that, there's a huge space for S&C coaches to have an impact. I think that's the main thing. Like I said, I'm lost for words because I never thought I would have received some of the messages I've received, and yeah.
And to put it in perspective, I was at NOPT probably 2 years ago now for a short amount of time, and John was my coach for all the listeners. And yeah, it was a short amount of time, but even then, like you impacted my training. To this day, I still hate kettlebell swings, but just the whole entire thing was like you taught me so much, like form, everything that I still use and will use forever. So even like that's huge thanks, and it puts in, like I said, perspective that you do. I was there a really short amount of time. Matt's been there a long time. I know Danielson. He's been there. You trained with him for a long time too.
And
So
he slacked off. He's gone now.
I called him yesterday. He messaged me yesterday.
oh, he did.
Say what?
Danielson,
You leave at OPT?
yeah, Danielson. He literally messaged me the other day. Yeah, literally yesterday, and was like, kind of like, hey, like, miss you. I just wanted like basically send me a message like I appreciate you, whatever.
Yeah.
I ended up hopping on a FaceTime call to catch up and see what he's doing in terms of training. But no, yeah, you're welcome. And you know what? And if any athlete I've ever trained, watches this episode, I tell them this in person. And if you ever need anything, just reach out. Right? It's not like I'm gone. It's not like I forgot how to speak the English language.
Yeah.
Right? Like reach out. If you have a question, I'll answer. So.
Yeah, a couple of things I want you to said too. Like, I don't like I was there even before you, right? So I've seen you the whole time, and I'm big on the relationship part of a trainer. Like when new trainers, when I have a new coach who's like not actually my head coach, right? Or like if I'm on the ice and it's someone new, like I'm like, I don't know, this is like, I don't know, maybe cocky or whatever. I'm like, why are you telling me to do this? Like, you know what I mean? They sometimes jump in too much and stuff, and I don't like it. But like I'd say you definitely have a bigger impact, especially on me and like the hockey guys who are seeing you every day. Like I've seen you 20 times more than I've seen my coach from last year, like all the time. And you can tell when you're having a bad day, you can tell when I'm having a bad day. Like that's the stuff that's super cool about the training, and coaches can really make or break that for you. I'm sure there's a lot of people who have had coaches or strength and conditioning coaches that stopped going to the gym because they didn't like their coach.
Oh, 100%. And there's some in the area that we've been told about, right?
Yeah.
We know people in the area that, whatever, but I hear you. I hear that. It is a relationship built business above all. Like as much as it's cliche to say, like no one cares about how much you know until you show them how much you care. Like I'm sure you've heard that saying.
Yep.
But like I remember like going off Mueller's point of my first days at NLPT, my first goal was to not step on anyone's toes. Like the first time I ever coached HP, I'm like, I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. Like I'm just gonna coach, and if I see an injury risk, I'll step in. But other than that, I'm gonna get to know you, and I want you to get to know me. Relationship build, and then you'll trust me. Like I think that, and a lot of coaches seem to not do that, and I witnessed some over my years there, and short tenured coaches that we don't see anymore. But I hear everything you're saying, and I appreciate that. I appreciate you a lot.
And that's what sets you apart from competition. Like in any industry, I think it's safe to say now that the competition's huge for a lot of things. So it's just those little things like the communication, relationship building is what sets you apart and brings you from here to here, right? And that's what you got. And I know that whatever you do next after NLPT, we'll try and see what your plans are after this. But yeah, like I think that's something. Just talking to you here and through training with you and our first episode, you got that relationship building skill, which will by far set you right to the top. So, congratulations for that.
Thank you for saying that. No, thank you.
So let's go back into the change of standard. We kind of didn't get into full, not change of standard.
Game changer
performance. Game changer. Because you always say change the standard. Like
raise the standard. I hear you. I hear you.
I wrote down.
Messed it up twice.
So let's get is this kind of just something you want to do on the side, or like is this something you're hoping gets bigger?
Yeah. So obviously, I hope it gets big. That'd be huge. But the reason why I revamped it or I changed the logo and everything, I don't even want to show you the first logo I ever had, and even my first post on the account. If you go to the account right now and you look at the first post, the logo is different now, and it was literally within a week. I posted that logo. I had actually a former athlete at NLPT DM me and go, hey, do you want me to show you different types of logos and see if you like it? I'm like, why not? If you're here to make it better, go for it. She mocked it up, did it way better, sent it. I was like, oh my God. Not even a week after I posted, I thought the revamped logo, I revamped it again. But and I'm like, it's crazy. But no, the goal is just, again, like to educate people on training, but also if we can make it big, like that would be great. Mm-hmm. Like I'm sure, I think everyone, I shouldn't say everyone, but most people, they can blow up their social medias or, I think they would take the opportunity to do that. So in terms of the goal for that is I really mapped out, I have a year where I'm doing online schooling. Unfortunately, we're in lockdown. Unfortunately, there's a pandemic going on. But I have a year to do something on the side along with schooling. And I don't want to waste that time to just, I just spent a year in my house on the computer getting a master's degree. I don't want that. Like there needs to be some experience attached to it. It can't just be the educational piece.
Yeah.
And it's a good time to start the virtual programming. I don't know, I'm sure it's like this with everything. Meetings, like my dad's work, my mom's work, schools are going to have an online option probably for years to come. Like programming, I'm sure is the same. We got that app. That app's never going to go away unless something better comes along, right? So it's definitely the way of the trend. So it's kind of it's a good time for that, for sure.
Yeah, and the whole new year too. Everyone wants to get in shape or whatever. Like I've had like it's not much, but like within the first week of posting that we have online training programs, we've had 4 people message. And it's something wow, I didn't even know. Right? Yeah, I didn't know 4 people were gonna message. Oh, okay, you want programming for us? Sounds good. Let's get set up. Like it's good. It's good. And it keeps you, I think, especially like relating it back to this podcast, it keeps you driven. Like even though like Mueller, you're a hockey player, you know what I'm saying? Like it's still doing something on the side attached to that keeps you driven.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
And something, I don't know, we're kind of slowly wrapping up here. So I know you weren't training as much when you were working those crazy hours all the time. Has that something you've kind of got back into? I know you love training, but it was hard. Like you were working crazy. So are you starting to train more now that you're home?
Yeah. And the thing is too is the one thing that's tough about the industry is, especially going in as a young coach, is I just spent 3 years coaching people, and I thought I did a very good job, but because it's not to make the excuse I didn't have time. I did have time. I just prioritized other things. And I want people who are listening to this, like, you have time to work out. You have time to train. I just prioritized different things at the time. Could I have trained every day 100%? I could have got up an hour earlier, drove to work, trained before HP, and got it done. But the first time in around since my return year in high school, so 5 years ago, I've hired a coach to coach me, and it's not to teach me anything, but it's to
motivate you,
to be like, okay, hold me accountable. But yeah, teach you, not even motivate, but like I think, and I forget, someone told me this, and I forgot who, but someone said you're not a true strength coach unless you have another strength coach program for you. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that in 3 years at NLPT. I didn't have a coach program for me. I programmed for myself for 3 years, and I did well. But I think I need someone to just program for me. Like I want to experience your training methods. I want to experience your training system, and I'll put my body through it because for me, like I'm done playing sport, and unfortunately, right now I know majority of us to an extent we're all done because of the lockdown. But I'm saying I'm done playing like contact sport, like the if we were in a normal world right now where the pandemic didn't exist, I'd be playing just men's touch football, which
Mm-hmm.
is just something I just run around in. So the coach I hired, anyways, again, my first coach since my return year of high school, which is going to help with accountability, and he's doing everything virtual, obviously, right now. So I'm sending him videos every day, and um, and if I can have good conversations with him, I engage in those. But yeah, to answer your question, I am training more, which is good, and it helps that I don't work the long days. It really does.
Yeah, and I think
That's
that's
very
really,
interesting.
yeah. I was just gonna say that too, and I think it's what you said there is really important. Like a little lesson for everyone too. That like no matter how good you get in anything you do, like you can always improve. Like I know in with football, people always like at the top highest levels, they're still training. They still got people telling them what to do. And that's with everything. Hockey, the best actors in the world are always they have someone coaching them. Right, like no matter what you do, there's always room for improvement. So that's I like how you brought that up because it's
So,
super true.
yeah, like 100%. Like I think if someone in one's lifetime, if you can get at least two mentors, if someone can mentor you through something, I think it's huge. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
if someone's willing to do that, because um, there are a lot of things you got to figure out yourself, but it helps when you do have that coach. And I think everyone should hire a coach.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. I'm not talking about just strength and conditioning. It doesn't have to be a strength coach. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to like lift weights. You don't need to strength train. You don't need to do crazy assault bike intervals. Like, if you don't like that kind of working out or training, and you like something else, do that. But still invest in a coach of some sort to help you grow, because that's one thing also I learned, and this just brings me back to one of the questions you asked before. But like the thing about training or movement is, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Like if it doesn't get you excited to train, then you don't need to do it. Like I'd rather have someone that's like, yeah, I want to run a marathon every other week, even though I don't agree with, I think strength training is more superior for
Mm-hmm.
maybe their goals. But if they'd rather do that because they want to, yeah, go do it. I'm not going to stop you from exercising. Like,
Yeah.
get a coach that can understand that too. And like you hit it on the head there, Keith. I think a coach is really crucial to
Mm-hmm.
people's development.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then
Very
the
true.
final. Oh, sorry. The final. I know I've talked to you a little bit. You mentioned a little bit, kind of a final. Here's like, what's your end goal? What's the next step for you after this Masters? What's the end goal? I know you have no clue what's gonna happen, right? You never know. You said you could go anywhere. You'd be willing to go almost anywhere, right, in the world to coach. So, what's the next step? What's the end goal?
So the next step, I won't quite announce yet because I want to seek it through a little more, but it involves a collegiate opportunity in Canada.
Nice.
Um, the end goal is to be a collegiate strength coach at some point in time, whether that's at a college in Ontario, whether that's a university in Ontario, whether that's across Canada, whether that's overseas, to have that experience. Um, the It would be awesome to be a pro strength coach, like for a professional team of any sport. I think that would be a really cool experience. But at the end of the day, and I said this a while ago, I want to open my own gym. Like when it's all said and done, like I think it'd be cool to be an entrepreneur and go through the ups and downs of that and be like that. But that's like something you own. Like, and another thing, again, I've been reading a lot because I have more time, but someone said like, you don't want to spend your life building someone else's dreams, like build yours. Like someone's going
Mm-hmm.
to hire you to build their dreams if you don't build your dreams. So, and that was basically the whole thing about just, be an entrepreneur. Just take the chances and own your thing, because no one can take that away from you. But once someone hires you to build their dream, you're not doing like, if you're cool with that, cool with that. I'm not saying that's a terrible thing. I'm just saying I'm in more of the mindset of I want to own something at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely agree.
But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Do you have anything else, Keith? Or
No, I think that went really, really well.
yeah, that was awesome for like a non-structure, right? We got a great conversation, and hopefully everyone listening enjoyed it. Obviously, inaugural guest, so we needed to have you on sometime. And even in our first episode, we said we'd have you on again. So it took 60 episodes, 8 months, but we did it. We got it.
We got it done.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys a lot. I appreciate that. Thank you guys, and continue to do what you guys do. Like, obviously, I'll support you guys as much as I can. I'm sure you guys know that. So,
and you got the Charged Up show on your back too. We got you.
Sounds good. Thank you.